As the sun begins to dip below the horizon, casting long shadows across the wooden machiya townhouses of Edo, a quiet settles over the city. The day's bustling trade and commerce gradually recede into the background, leaving behind an evening stillness that grows with each passing minute. The air cools gently as night approaches, carrying whispers of distant conversations and the soft rustle of paper lanterns swaying in the breeze. In many parts of Edo, shutters begin to settle into place over shop fronts, their wooden frames creaking softly under the weight of evening. It is likely that visitors might have noticed these small sounds as they ventured deeper into the city. The first pools of warm light appear near the gates and corners of neighborhoods, casting gentle glows on packed earth paths and simple wooden bridges that crisscross the canals. These lights may have been provided by paper lanterns hanging from eaves or placed along narrow lanes to guide travelers safely through the darkness. The flickering flames dance softly against the shadows, creating a calm and atmospheric glow. As you move further into Edo's heart, the streets become narrower and more secluded. Low eaves and rooflines blend seamlessly with the encroaching night, their silhouettes fading from dusk into darkness. Occasionally, a temple gate may have loomed ahead, its stone pillars standing guard over quiet courtyards within. The sound of footsteps becomes less frequent as you venture deeper into the city's silent streets. In many parts of Edo, watchmen would patrol these lanes to ensure safety and security, their presence often marked by soft murmurs or distant calls that echoed through the night. These voices may have provided a reassuring backdrop for those traveling after dark. The wooden machiya townhouses stand tall along either side of the paths, their paper doors closed but not entirely silent. From time to time, you might hear the faint sound of a shutter being drawn shut or the soft creaking of a door opening briefly before closing again. Inside these homes, families may have gathered around simple hearths for warmth and conversation, their voices muted by the thick walls. As night deepens, the city's canals reflect the moonlight, creating shimmering paths that stretch across the water's surface. The gentle lapping of waves against wooden banks adds a soothing rhythm to the evening soundscape. In some areas, small groups may have gathered near bridges or along canal edges, their conversations soft and intimate. The quiet domestic interiors of Edo homes would often be filled with the warmth of hearth fires and the faint glow of paper lanterns placed within rooms. These lights may have cast gentle shadows across tatami mats and wooden floors, creating a sense of calm and security within the city's wooden structures. As dawn begins to softly arrive on the horizon, the first hints of light start to break through the darkness. The softening of night gives way to the gradual awakening of Edo, its silent streets beginning to stir once more in preparation for another day. The wooden machiya townhouses stand tall along either side of the paths, their paper doors closed but not entirely silent. From time to time, you might hear the faint sound of a shutter being drawn shut or the soft creaking of a door opening briefly before closing again. Inside these homes, families may have gathered around simple hearths for warmth and conversation, their voices muted by the thick walls. The canals that crisscross Edo reflect the moonlight, creating shimmering paths across the water's surface. The gentle lapping of waves against wooden banks adds a soothing rhythm to the evening soundscape. In some areas, small groups may have gathered near bridges or along canal edges, their conversations soft and intimate. The quiet domestic interiors of Edo homes would often be filled with the warmth of hearth fires and the faint glow of paper lanterns placed within rooms. These lights may have cast gentle shadows across tatami mats and wooden floors, creating a sense of calm and security within the city's wooden structures. As night deepens, watchmen would patrol these lanes to ensure safety and security, their presence often marked by soft murmurs or distant calls that echoed through the night. These voices provided a reassuring backdrop for those traveling after dark, ensuring a sense of peace even in the quietest hours. The rooftops of Edo may have shimmered under the moonlight, with occasional glimpses of watchtowers and temple spires standing sentinel over the city. The air was cool and carried the scent of damp earth and wood smoke from distant hearths, blending into a soothing nocturnal symphony that enveloped the entire landscape. As dawn begins to softly arrive on the horizon, the first hints of light start to break through the darkness. The softening of night gives way to the gradual awakening of Edo, its silent streets beginning to stir once more in preparation for another day. As the quiet evening descends over Edo, the city transforms into a tapestry of shadows and light. Narrow lanes wind through neighborhoods, where wooden machiya townhouses stand close together, their latticed shutters closed for the night. The streets are lined with packed earth paths, softened by the occasional rain that leaves them slick underfoot. Lanterns hang from eaves and posts, casting small pools of warm light onto the ground. These lanterns may have been a source of guidance for those moving through the darkened city, but their glow is limited to small areas, leaving stretches of shadow between each pool of illumination. The soft footfalls of passers-by echo in these narrow lanes, turning corners and fading away into the night. Merchant houses and shopfronts dot the streets, their doors shuttered for the evening. Visitors might have noticed the occasional glimpse of a wooden lattice or a faint light seeping through cracks in the shutters, hinting at quiet domestic interiors within. The rhythm of the neighborhood is subdued, with only an occasional figure passing by, a watchman perhaps, making his rounds to ensure fire precautions are followed. In some parts of Edo, canals run alongside the streets, their surfaces reflecting the dim glow of lanterns and the moonlight above. Simple wooden bridges cross these waterways, adding a gentle break in the pattern of the lanes. The sound of water gently lapping against the edges of the canal adds to the serene atmosphere. As you walk further into the neighborhood, temple gates come into view, their outlines silhouetted by the faint light from nearby lanterns. These structures would often serve as landmarks, guiding people through the city's intricate network of streets. The occasional glimpse of a moonlit rooftop completes the scene, casting silver glints across the darkened paths below. The night in Edo is not one of complete silence, instead, it is filled with the quiet rhythm of life after dusk. The soft rustling of leaves and the distant sound of water provide a gentle backdrop to the subdued order of the city's nighttime movement. As dawn begins to soften the edges of the darkness, the streets gradually take on a new light, preparing for another day in this timeless city. With each step, the calm and ordered pattern of Edo reveals itself, a testament to the careful planning and daily routines that shaped life in 18th-century Japan. Visitors might have noticed the occasional watchman patrolling the streets, their lanterns casting long shadows that danced across the packed earth paths. These watchmen would often be tasked with ensuring fire precautions were followed, a critical duty in a city where wooden structures lined narrow lanes and any spark could quickly spread. The sound of water gently lapping against the edges of canals added to the serene atmosphere, its rhythmic cadence soothing under the moonlit sky. In some parts of Edo, temple gates stood tall at intersections, their outlines silhouetted by the faint light from nearby lanterns. These structures would often serve as landmarks for those navigating the intricate network of streets after dark. The occasional glimpse of a moonlit rooftop provided a serene contrast to the darkness below, casting silver glints across the paths. As dawn began to soften the edges of the night, the first hints of morning light filtered through the narrow lanes. The soft rustling of leaves and distant sounds of water continued to provide a gentle backdrop as the city gradually transitioned from its quiet nighttime rhythm into the early hours of another day. As the last rays of twilight fade from Edo's sky, a quiet stillness settles over the city. The streets, once bustling with merchants and travelers during the day, now echo only with the distant sounds of watchmen patrolling their beats. In the shadowed lanes, the wooden machiya townhouses stand as silent sentinels, each one a blend of living quarters, shop fronts, and storage spaces. Inside these compact structures, household tasks are carried out in modest light. The hearth area may still glow faintly with embers, casting soft shadows across low partitions and tatami mats laid out for the evening. A gentle creak from the wooden floorboards signals someone moving about behind shuttered fronts, perhaps arranging bedding or settling into a routine of rest. In many parts of Edo, these domestic interiors would often be simple yet functional. Low furniture, such as tables and cushions, may have been arranged to suit both work and leisure. Partitions made from paper screens could divide spaces for privacy, their edges catching the dim light from oil lamps or hearths, creating a serene atmosphere. The muted clink of household objects being set aside is barely audible, blending into the quiet rhythm of evening. A small lantern hanging near the entrance may flicker softly as it casts an amber glow over the packed earth path leading to the front door. Shop goods are likely being secured for the morning, with items neatly arranged behind closed shutters. Visitors might have noticed how these interiors were designed to keep noise and light minimal, a practical consideration in densely populated areas where neighbors lived close together. The air inside is cool from the evening breeze that seeps through open windows or sliding doors, mingling with the warmth emanating from hearths still smoldering gently. As night deepens, the sounds of Edo grow quieter still. Moonlight begins to filter through gaps in the rooftops and temple gates, casting silver beams across the packed earth paths and canals below. The city's watchmen continue their rounds, ensuring peace and safety as dawn approaches softly on the horizon. The faint scent of wood smoke carried on the evening breeze, mingling with the earthy aroma from nearby canals and gardens. In some households, women may have been seen quietly preparing meals over hearths, their movements slow and deliberate as they tended to pots and pans. The rhythmic sound of water being ladled into buckets would echo softly through the narrow lanes. In these modest interiors, partitions made from paper screens often divided spaces for privacy, allowing light to filter gently between rooms. These screens, with their delicate designs, may have caught the soft glow from oil lamps or hearths, casting intricate shadows on walls and tatami mats laid out for evening relaxation. The low furniture within would likely include simple wooden tables and cushions, arranged in a way that suited both work and leisure. Visitors might have noticed how these interiors were designed to keep noise minimal, a practical consideration given the close quarters of Edo's densely populated neighborhoods. Neighbors often lived mere steps apart, sometimes sharing common spaces such as wells or communal areas for washing clothes. The air inside would be cool from the evening breeze that seeped through open windows or sliding doors, mingling with the warmth emanating from hearths still smoldering gently. As night deepened further, moonlight began to filter through gaps in temple gates and rooftops, casting silver beams across packed earth paths and canals below. The city's watchmen continued their rounds, ensuring peace and safety as dawn approached softly on the horizon. Their lanterns flickered faintly, adding a soft glow to the quiet streets where only the occasional sound of water dripping into buckets could be heard. In many parts of Edo, residents would gather around hearths for warmth and conversation during colder nights. The gentle crackle of embers provided both light and comfort, while the low hum of voices carried softly through open doors and windows. These quiet moments allowed families to share stories and reflect on their day before settling into a peaceful rest. The packed earth paths leading to front doors may have been damp from recent rain, each step leaving soft prints in the wet soil. Simple wooden bridges over canals would often be seen, providing easy access between neighborhoods and allowing residents to move about with ease during the night. The sound of water gently flowing beneath these bridges added a soothing element to the city's quiet rhythm. As dawn approached softly on the horizon, the first rays of light began to illuminate the rooftops and temple gates, signaling the start of another day in Edo. The city would soon awaken once more, but for now, it remained a tranquil haven where residents could find peace amidst their quiet domestic lives. Edo's waterways were a quiet, cool presence in the city. Canals and rivers meandered through the streets, serving as vital arteries for movement, drainage, and commerce. Wooden bridges of various sizes and designs spanned these waterways, each one crafted to suit its particular function and location. As night fell over Edo, the canals took on a serene quality. The dark water mirrored the moonlight, creating an ethereal glow that danced gently with the ripples caused by passing boats or the occasional breeze. Moored boats lined the banks, their hulls resting quietly against wooden pilings. These vessels would often carry goods from one part of Edo to another, a silent testament to the city's bustling trade network. The sound of water lapping softly against the pilings was almost hypnotic, a soothing rhythm that seemed to echo through the night. In some parts of Edo, watchmen patrolled the streets and canals, their lanterns casting flickering shadows on the wooden bridges they crossed. The planks beneath their feet would creak gently with each step, a subtle reminder of the city's careful structure. Moored boats near the canal banks were often shrouded in shadow, their forms barely visible against the dark water. These vessels may have been used for transporting goods or even as temporary shelters for those who worked along the waterways. The cool damp air rising from the canal edges carried a fresh scent of earth and water, mingling with the faint aroma of smoke from distant hearths. Bridges in Edo varied widely, depending on their purpose and location. Some were simple wooden structures designed to allow quick passage over narrow canals, while others were more elaborate affairs that served as important landmarks or thoroughfares. The bridges would often be lined with lanterns, casting a soft glow down onto the water below. Visitors might have noticed how the canal banks themselves played an integral role in Edo's daily life. Wooden machiya townhouses, their paper doors and shutters closed for the night, stood along the edges of these waterways. The packed earth paths leading from the houses to the canals were often damp with dew or rainwater, adding a cool touch beneath one's feet. In many parts of Edo, fire precautions were taken seriously. Canals serve not only as drainage but also as a means of preventing fires from spreading too quickly through tightly packed wooden structures. The water's surface would sometimes reflect the flickering light of distant lanterns or watchman patrols, creating an almost magical quality to the night. As dawn approached softly, the canals began to stir with new activity. Fishermen may have started their day by casting nets into the cool waters, while workers prepared to transport goods along the waterways once more. The moonlit rooftops and quiet domestic interiors of Edo slowly gave way to a new day, but for now, the night remained calm and reflective over these silent streets. The canals continued to flow gently, their surface reflecting the changing light as dawn arrived softly in Edo. The cool, damp air carried whispers of distant temple bells, their chimes echoing softly through the night. Wooden machiya townhouses stood along the canal banks, their paper doors and shutters closed for the evening, creating a sense of quiet seclusion. The packed earth paths leading to these homes were often wet with dew or recent rain, adding a cool texture beneath one's feet as they walked. In some parts of Edo, watchmen would patrol the streets and canals, their lanterns casting flickering shadows on the wooden bridges they crossed. These figures moved silently, their presence a subtle reminder of the city's careful structure and safety measures. The planks beneath their feet creaked gently with each step, blending seamlessly into the night's rhythm. Fire precautions were taken seriously in Edo, and canals served not only as drainage but also as a means to prevent fires from spreading too quickly through tightly packed wooden structures. Occasionally, the water's surface would reflect the flickering light of distant lanterns or watchman patrols, creating an almost magical quality to the night. As dawn approached softly, the canals began to stir with new activity. Fishermen may have started their day by casting nets into the cool waters, while workers prepared to transport goods along the waterways once more. The moonlit rooftops and quiet domestic interiors of Edo slowly gave way to a new day, but for now, the night remained calm and reflective over these silent streets. As the route unfolds, it opens toward temple grounds. The narrow lanes give way to a wider pocket of stillness, where the air feels cooler and the earth beneath is damp with evening dew. A faint bell tone dissolves into the night air, its echo lingering softly among the shadows. The gate of a nearby temple stands as a silhouette against the darkening sky, its wooden frame weathered by countless seasons. Tree branches stretch out around it, casting long shadows that dance gently in the soft breeze. Stone lanterns dot the pathway ahead, their forms faint and indistinct under the moonlight. It is likely that visitors might have noticed these lanterns as they wandered through Edo's quiet streets. The temple grounds themselves are spacious and open, offering a respite from the tightly packed wooden machiya townhouses that line the narrow lanes elsewhere in the city. The ground here is covered with packed earth paths, which may have been wet from recent rain, glistening under the pale light of dawn as it begins to softly arrive. Within this tranquil space, one can imagine the subtle sounds of night settling over Edo. Perhaps a watchman's lantern would pass by in the distance, its faint glow flickering gently as he made his rounds. The city was vigilant about fire precautions, and closed shopfronts were common during these hours, their owners likely tucked away in quiet domestic interiors. The temple itself may have been a place of refuge for weary travelers or locals seeking peace amidst the bustling life of Edo streets. Here, within this inner sanctum, one might find a momentary pause from the day's activities, surrounded by the cool stone and the soft rustling of leaves underfoot. The bell's gentle chime may have been a familiar sound, marking time in a way that was both comforting and reflective. As dawn continues to softly arrive, the temple grounds remain a quiet haven within Edo's sprawling landscape, where the night's stillness gives way to the promise of another day. The subtle rustling of leaves and the occasional creak of an old wooden gate add to the serene ambience, as if nature itself is settling into a quiet slumber. In many parts of Edo, canals would wind through the streets, their surfaces reflecting the faint glow from paper lanterns hanging over waterways. Simple wooden bridges spanning these canals may have been crossed by late-night travelers seeking refuge in temples or returning home after a day's work. The temple grounds continue to offer a tranquil haven, where visitors might have paused to contemplate life amidst the bustle of Edo. The soft rustling of leaves and distant sounds of water lapping against canal edges create a soothing backdrop. It is likely that some residents would have taken this moment to reflect on their day, perhaps even offering silent prayers as they walked through these sacred spaces. As dawn begins its gentle arrival, the temple grounds remain bathed in a soft light, casting long shadows across packed earth paths that may still glisten with raindrops from the previous evening. The air is filled with the faint scent of wet earth and blooming flowers, creating an atmosphere that invites both rest and contemplation. In the stillness of 18th-century Edo, under a moonlit sky, the city's wooden machiya townhouses stood in quiet rows. The packed earth paths were damp from recent rain, and the occasional drip echoed softly against the cobblestones. Alongside these narrow lanes ran canals, their surfaces reflecting the silvery light above. Night watchmen moved through the district with a deliberate pace, their footsteps barely audible as they listened for any signs of trouble. A distant wooden clapper sounded, its echo fading quickly into silence, a signal perhaps to other watchmen or neighbors that all was well in this part of Edo. The watchmen carried buckets and ladders, essential tools in the constant vigilance against fire. In many parts of Edo, residents would often keep their shopfronts closed at night, shuttered tightly to protect not only goods but also to prevent any sparks from entering. These wooden shutters formed a protective barrier, yet they did little to hide the quiet domestic interiors behind them. Through small gaps in the shutters, one might glimpse flickering paper lanterns casting soft shadows on the walls. The city's dense wooden construction made fire a serious and recurring concern. To mitigate this risk, neighborhoods had organized precautions, with buckets and ladders strategically placed near shuttered rows of buildings. In some areas, watchtowers or patrol routes were established to maintain vigilance over larger sections of Edo. These structures stood as silent sentinels against the threat of flames. As a watchman paused at one such intersection, his footsteps ceased for a moment. He listened intently, straining to hear any unusual sounds that might indicate danger. The city seemed held in careful stillness, the wooden architecture both vulnerable and resilient under the watchful eyes of its protectors. The night was filled with the soft rustle of leaves and the occasional distant bark of a dog. In this quietude, one could almost feel the weight of Edo's history, each townhouse and canal bearing witness to countless nights like these. The moonlight cast long shadows across rooftops, illuminating the careful preparations that ensured the city remained safe. As dawn began to soften the edges of night, the watchmen continued their rounds, their movements slow and deliberate. They moved through a landscape of wooden buildings and narrow paths, ever vigilant against any threat that might disrupt the peace of this ancient city. As dawn began to soften the edges of night, a gentle breeze whispered through the narrow streets, stirring the leaves and causing paper lanterns to sway gently from their hooks. The watchmen continued their rounds, moving with an almost meditative pace, each step deliberate and measured against the backdrop of Edo's wooden architecture. The cityscape was dotted with simple wooden bridges spanning tranquil canals, their reflections shimmering in the early morning light. Alongside these waterways, temple gates stood as silent sentinels, their lattice designs catching glimpses of the rising sun. The air carried a faint scent of wet earth and the distant sound of a stream trickling nearby. Visitors might have noticed how the wooden Machiya townhouses seemed to blend seamlessly into the natural landscape, their closed shopfronts adding an extra layer of stillness to the already quiet evening. Moonlit rooftops cast long shadows across the paths below, creating a tapestry of light and shadow that hinted at the city's enduring tranquility. The occasional bark of a distant dog or the soft rustle of leaves provided subtle reminders of life beyond the silent streets. Within these townhouses, quiet domestic interiors may have been illuminated by flickering paper lanterns, casting soft shadows on walls adorned with traditional scrolls and paintings. The cool autumn air brought a crispness to the damp paths, further emphasizing the peaceful atmosphere that enveloped Edo's night. In the deepest hours of Edo, when the city's pulse slows and whispers fade into shadow, rain begins to gather along eaves and rooflines. It is a time when the streets are no longer defined by their lanes or canals but by the layered silhouettes of rooftops, each one contributing its own rhythm to the night's quiet percussion. Rain taps softly across thatched roofs and tiles, creating a symphony of muted sounds. The world seems reduced to texture and shadow, with every drop adding another layer of dampness to the air. Wooden Machiya townhouses stand silent under the weight of the rain, their paper lanterns dimmed by the night's embrace. Dark walls and shutters soften in the damp atmosphere, taking on a muted glimmer as puddles form along packed earth paths and gutters. The city feels enclosed, sheltered from the outside world, and visitors might have noticed how the rain transforms even familiar streets into something more intimate and contemplative. In many parts of Edo, watchmen would patrol these quiet hours, their lanterns casting long shadows across the wet cobblestones. They move slowly, almost imperceptibly, ensuring that fire precautions are in place as they pass by closed shopfronts and temple gates. The city is not asleep entirely, there is a sense of vigilance, but it is a calm one. Inside these quiet homes, domestic life continues at its own slow pace. Paper screens may be drawn shut to keep out the chill, and the soft glow of candles or braziers might offer warmth against the night's coolness. The sound of rain outside creates an enveloping backdrop, a gentle reminder that even in the deepest hours, there is a rhythm to life. As dawn begins to approach softly, the city remains hushed but with a growing sense of anticipation. Shadows lengthen and then gradually fade as light returns to the rooftops. The soft percussion of rain gives way to the subtle sounds of awakening, doors creaking open, lanterns being lit once more, and the first stirrings of daily activity. In this transition from night to day, Edo's silent streets hold a peaceful beauty, where each moment is defined by the interplay of light and shadow, sound and silence. Visitors might have noticed how the rain-wet paths and canals took on a shimmering quality under the moonlight, reflecting the silvery glow that bathed everything in an ethereal light. The packed earth of these streets softened with each passing step, absorbing the moisture from above and below, creating a quiet spongy feel beneath one's feet. In many parts of Edo, residents would often draw their paper screens shut to keep out the chill, allowing only a narrow slit for light to filter through. Inside these homes, braziers may have been lit, casting soft shadows on the walls and ceiling as they provided warmth against the night's coolness. The rhythmic patter of raindrops outside created an enveloping backdrop, a gentle reminder that even in the deepest hours, there was a rhythm to life. The wooden machiya townhouses stood silent under the weight of the rain, their paper lanterns dimmed by the night's embrace, adding a soft glow to the darkened interiors. In some cases, residents might have gathered around small hearths or braziers, sharing stories and sipping warm tea as they listened to the soothing sounds of rainfall outside. The streets themselves felt enclosed, sheltered from the outside world, with only the occasional lantern casting long shadows across wet cobblestones. Watchmen would patrol these quiet hours, their lanterns moving slowly through the night, ensuring that fire precautions were in place as they passed by closed shop fronts and temple gates. The city was not asleep entirely, there was a sense of vigilance, but it was a calm one. As dawn began to approach softly, the city remained hushed but with a growing sense of anticipation. Shadows lengthened and then gradually faded as light returned to the rooftops. The soft percussion of rain gave way to the subtle sounds of awakening, doors creaking open, lanterns being lit once more, and the first stirrings of daily activity. In this transition from night to day, Edo's silent streets held a peaceful beauty, where each moment was defined by the interplay of light and shadow, sound and silence. The rain-wet paths and canals continued to shimmer under the early morning sun, their surfaces reflecting the gentle rays as they slowly dried. The city felt alive but still hushed, a balance between the deep rest of night and the awakening of day. As dawn begins to paint the eastern sky with soft hues of pink and orange, the first signs of awakening appear in Edo. A shutter slides open quietly on a wooden machiya townhouse, allowing a narrow beam of light to spill onto the packed earth path below. The faint smell of hearth smoke mixes with the crisp morning air as it rises from chimneys across the city. In the distance, low murmurs can be heard, soft voices and the gentle clink of tools as shopkeepers begin their day. A market edge is being arranged without any rush or hurry, vegetables are carefully laid out on wooden stalls, and fish are placed in shallow baskets lined with seaweed. The sounds remain far away, barely more than a whisper carried by the early morning breeze. The canal water near the machiya house catches the thin light of dawn, shimmering gently as it flows past. A simple wooden bridge spans the waterway, its reflection rippling softly on the surface. Small boats may have been moored nearby, their owners preparing to set out for a day's work or returning from night duties. Temple gates in the distance stand still and silent against the rising light, their shadows stretching long across the paths that lead up to them. The occasional figure can be seen moving quietly about, perhaps a watchman making his rounds, ensuring all is well before the city fully awakens. In many parts of Edo, such figures would often patrol the streets at dawn, checking for any signs of trouble or fire. Inside one of the townhouses, a family may have begun their day with simple rituals, brewing tea over a hearth, preparing breakfast in the quiet domestic interior. The sound of water being drawn from a well might drift through the air, mingling with the soft thud of wooden sandals on the floorboards as someone moves about. As dawn continues to spread its light across Edo, the city prepares itself for another day. The streets remain calm and silent, their quietness a stark contrast to the bustling activity that will soon follow. This moment, before the full awakening, is one of peaceful anticipation, a brief pause in time where everything seems possible and hopeful. In this soft dawn light, the city begins its transition from night to day, each small action and movement contributing to the gradual shift. The canal water continues to shimmer gently under the early morning sun, reflecting the quiet beauty of Edo as it prepares for another cycle of life. And so, with a gentle sigh of the morning breeze, the silent streets of Edo begin to stir softly, readying themselves for whatever may come. As dawn continues to spread its light, the gentle rustling of leaves in nearby gardens adds a soft melody to the morning air. The wooden machiya townhouses, with their sliding doors still closed, cast long shadows across the packed earth paths below. In some areas, damp patches from overnight dew or recent rain can be seen on these pathways, making them creak softly underfoot as they dry in the growing warmth. The canal water near the machiya house continues to shimmer gently as it flows past, reflecting the early morning light and casting a silvery sheen across its surface. Small boats moored nearby may have been prepared for their day's work by now, with owners perhaps already out on the water or returning from night duties. The occasional splash of fish surfacing for air mixes with the distant calls of roosters crowing in the distance. Temple gates stand quietly along some paths, often the first structures illuminated by the rising sun. Their shadows stretch long across the ground as the light grows stronger, and visitors might have noticed how these ancient structures seem to glow softly against the backdrop of dawn. Inside one temple compound, a watchman may have been making his rounds, ensuring all was well before the full awakening of the city. In many parts of Edo, such figures would often patrol the streets at dawn, checking for any signs of trouble or fire. The cool morning air carries a hint of wet earth and distant incense wafting from temple grounds, mingling with the faint smell of hearth smoke that rises from chimneys across the city. This combination of scents creates an almost ethereal atmosphere, one that seems to suspend time in its gentle embrace. Inside one of the townhouses, a family may have begun their day with simple rituals, brewing tea over a hearth and preparing breakfast in the quiet domestic interior. The sound of water being drawn from a well might drift through the air, mingling with the soft thud of wooden sandals on the floorboards as someone moves about. In some homes, paper lanterns hanging by the entrance may have been lit to guide early risers out into the dawn light. As the city begins its transition from night to day, each small action and movement contributes to the gradual shift. The canal water continues to shimmer gently under the early morning sun, reflecting the quiet beauty of Edo as it prepares for another cycle of life. The streets remain calm and silent, their quietness a stark contrast to the bustling activity that will soon follow. In this soft dawn light, the city begins its transformation from darkness into daylight, each moment filled with peaceful anticipation, a brief pause in time where everything seems possible and hopeful. The canal water reflects the serene rooftops and narrow streets, adding to the tranquil ambience of Edo as it awakens gently under the morning sun. And so, with a gentle sigh of the morning breeze, the silent streets of Edo continue to stir softly, readying themselves for whatever may come. The dawn continues to spread its light across the city, casting a serene and hopeful glow over every corner and alleyway, promising another day filled with quiet moments and peaceful transitions.